First, observe the overall condition. Is your door warped? Is there any cracked glass? Are there any rotted areas that will decrease its effectiveness? Next, make sure the door opens and closes properly. You also want to make sure that the handle and all of the locks work. And last, we'll want to check the hinges, as well as any weather stripping or seal. Solid wood doors tend to warp with time. When this happens, your door's R rating goes down, which determines how well your home is insulated. If you have or are looking for an exterior door, it should be made with waterproof adhesives, not water resistant. A telltale sign of the correct door is a red plastic plug in the top edge. Most steel doors on the market have insulation within them. They're usually at a cheaper cost than solid wood doors and rarely warp. The main concern with steel doors is that if ultraviolet rays repeatedly hit the door, the plastic trim becomes very brittle and is eventually destroyed. Another common problem with this weak plastic trim is that the magnetic stripping tends to rip out of the plastic whenever the door is opened. Fiberglass doors should go through the same inspection tactics that we've discussed. In addition, look for fading areas as well as patches of tiny spears that are splinters. I caution you, don't rub your hand or fingers across these patches, or you're going to feel some pain getting those splinters out. Storm doors are most often used to reduce heat loss and cold air infiltration around the joints of the frame. They are generally lightly constructed wood or metal doors with the glass panel insert. Look for cracked, missing, or broken panes or sections. Also, check the damper arm, and if a screen door is present, make sure it's intact. Inspecting windows is really a two-part process. We'll visually inspect it from the exterior, and once we're inside, we'll check the operation of it. You don't have to inspect every window in the house, but you should try to inspect at least one window in every room, and one room on each side of your house. Most of the problems are obvious, such as being cracked, broken, or if they're missing a pane. I would say the most important area to check is the wood around the frame. Check this for rot, missing paint that normally protects it, and for sealant. All of the exterior joints should be watertight and airtight. Allow me to give you some basics on the 4 most popular types of sealant known as caulk. Oil-based caulk is the cheapest and bonds well to most surfaces. However, it's not very durable and usually cracks after a short time. Butyl rubber is mid-priced. It's durable and paintable. However, like any rubber, it can expand and shrink with drastic changes in temperature. Acrylic caulk is also mid-priced. It is durable, flexible, and usually lasts many years. In my opinion, this is the best choice for most jobs. Silicone is the most expensive of the 4. It is very pliable and is put to good use in joints or cracks that are subject to movement. Now let's talk about the most popular windows on the market, insulated windows. As mentioned before, these windows are given R ratings. R ratings are also used to describe walls and insulation. Basically, a higher R rating means less energy is lost through the panes. A typical R rating for a single pane of glass is less than the number 1. To raise this rating, windows can have 2 or even 3 panes of glass with a vacuum insulation between each pane. Newer vacuums contain either argon or krypton gas. The typical R rating for insulated windows is between 3 and 5. However, as time goes by, insulated windows eventually lose their vacuums. You will realize this when moisture droplets or mist appear between 2 panes of glass. You may also see white stains or streaks, which are actually mineral salts left behind as water evaporates. As mentioned before, this is referred to as efflorescence. Double-hung windows usually consist of an upper sash as well as a lower sash. These windows have a pulley, rope, and weight mechanism to aid in raising the bottom sash. Check the rope to see if it's still in good standing. Sliding windows come in horizontal or vertical styles and typically have aluminum frames. The problem here is that these frames eventually corrode, and this corrosion often spreads to the wood around the frame. If there's a hand crank present, you have a casement window. Before you open it, make sure the latches are undone first. Open via the hand crank. If it doesn't open at first, give it a gentle push to help it get started. The weather seals on these windows tend to rip out if the window isn't opened every once in a while, so keep that in mind. Storm windows and screens have the same R rating as a single pane of glass. There are 3 basic types on the market today: storm sashes, storm panels, and combinations of the two. One of the biggest problems with all of these is heavy condensation on the inside of the pane. To prevent this, there should be 2 weep holes present at the bottom of the window to let water drain back to the outside. Storm sashes are usually wood and are also removable. It simply fits over the window and is commonly found on the outside. Storm sashes cannot be opened during warm months. A storm panel resembles a sash. It's usually mounted in a narrow metal frame and is attached to a movable sash that doesn't interfere with the operation of the window. Combination units are usually mounted over the outside of the window and consist of 2 or 3 tracks. A 2-track window has a storm sash in the upper half and a screen sash in the lower half. A 3-track window has separate tracks for each of the 2 storm panes and 1 track for the screen. Combination windows are available in aluminum, steel, or solid vinyl. A good way to tell which type you have is to look at the edge of the window. Aluminum edges will have a silver color. Vinyl edges will be the same color as the frame. And steel edges have a tendency to rust.